here. But what we are going to talk about in this session is how to have a successful after-school program. Our after-school program's got a name. You always got to have a name, and ours is called Power Packs. Power Packs, and there's a reason for that, and we will get to that here in just a little bit. But this is our third year in doing Power Packs. It actually was brought to us for us to, they were coming and asking us to do this. And it wasn't the schools, it's called Butler County Success. It's a program out there. What Butler County Success was doing was getting food into the kids' hands, take home on Fridays, so that they would have food to eat over the weekend that they could prepare themselves. So that was the beginning of what started our Power Pack program. And it came down to, just like everywhere else you go, money was becoming an issue. Butler County Success was running out of funds to be able to continue to give these kids food on the weekends. Now, most of our schools districts have some kind of feeding program for morning, breakfast, or lunch, free lunch program that they offer the kids in feeding qualifications. The issue is what happens to these kids when they go home. There's nothing for them on the weekends. So they came up with the idea that giving a bag of food, it's like a Kroger bag, filled with some food items. There's snacks, there's like ravioli, things that they can pop in the microwave and fix themselves. So what we've done is we've gone and be able to continue that. We said, hey, we're all about this. We'd love to be a part of this program. And they said, well, if you do, we're going to give you an opportunity to bring the kids to your church. And we're like, seriously, you know? That's cool. And they first said they were going to bus them in. We thought that was even better, but we were going to have to take them home. But then it came down when we got closer to starting the program that, well, Fairfield don't have the funds to bus them in. So we decided, okay, we got two vans, we got two schools we're working with. We sent a van to each school to start working this program. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because I have a little bit, but what we're going to talk about first is why have an after-school program? Why have one? Well, number one we found is to help children be successful in school. If your mentality is going into a school and being all about church, you're not going to get far. You've got to really have a heart for kids, and we know our children's workers have a heart for kids, but it's got to be more than just seeing them come to Christ. You literally have got a heart that these kids need help and/or growth at school. They need to do well at school. And what we have done is teamed up with the teachers in the school district. It's amazing. Now the teachers see, wow, these people really care about these kids. It's more than just shoving a Bible down their throat. You know, they really care about our kids, and that's what's built the relationship and started building the bridges. So we want to make sure we help children be successful in our schools. The next thing we want to do is we want to introduce the children to the Word of God. And I'm going to go through here in a little bit what we actually do at our Power Pack program, but that's the second goal, introduce them to the Word of God. That doesn't mean we bring them to church every time they come in and try to get them saved. It's not like that. We want to introduce them to God first, because most of these kids don't have a clue. And they're bus kids, just like you would have in your ministries, bus kids that come in. You can tell a huge difference between bus kids and church kids. Church kids will tell you how to teach. Bus kids be like, I don't have a clue who Adam and Eve is, you know? They just don't know. The third thing we want to do is to build a solid relationship with the schools. That has been huge, and I was telling somebody earlier today about this. It's amazing to me the doors that have been opened from the relationship we started with the schools. I mean, I'll give you one example, because I don't think it's further in my notes. With one of the two schools, it's actually the one we do the less with, because there's only 13 kids coming from. The other one we got almost 40 come from, so I'm focused more at that school because it requires me to be there more. But the one with 13, they called me one day and said, we're having a luncheon for our senior citizens, for our grandparents is what it was. For our grandparents come in this day. Would you come to our lunch and say the opening prayer? And I'm saying, who am I talking to? I mean, are you sure it's public school? I mean, I was just blown away that a public school was calling me and saying, would you come and open in prayer? I didn't think we were allowed to do prayer in school like that. Blew my mind, and you know what I said, of course. Don't have time, right? Not at all. It's like, absolutely, I will be there. And so I got the opportunity to go and have lunch and be able to hang with some of the teachers, meet some of the parents. Found out that these are kids that their grandparents, their kids come to my church. They come to the Power Pack program. So I got to meet some of the parents. So it's a really neat situation to get into. The next thing we want to do is To introduce the church to the children. To teach them that coming to church is a good thing. Give them opportunity to come to church. Okay? Not just for a Power Pack program, but man, Wednesday nights we have Awana. Sunday mornings we have jam. At Easter we're having this big egg exciting adventure. We got Vacation Bible School. I mean, we want to introduce them to everything that we do at our church. Then our fifth goal is to get into the homes of the children. It is the thing that will change your results. Okay, and I say that because you're going to get the kids. If you're any fun and you love these kids, you're going to get them. But if you want to get the families, you got to do that right there. You got to get into the home. You got to make yourself visible. You got to be there for them. Help them out. Okay? Don't act like I just want you for church. You got to really care. And I'm going to go into what we do with that here in a little bit. And then the bottom result, which of course too many times people, that's their focus, but that's to be soul saved. That's the outcome. If you get into these homes and you work with these kids, you'll see this outcome. But too many times churches are flip-flop and they're trying to win the souls first and not build a relationship. And you get the kids in, they okay, I get saved, and you don't see them anymore. There's no relationship. You've got to build a relationship first. Are there any questions as to why have an after-school program? Okay, pretty easy, huh? Next thing we want to talk about is how to have a successful after-school program. How to have a successful after-school program. The first thing we do is talk to the schools about their programs in lower-income families. You'll be surprised at how many already have stuff, like free lunches. The principals one is a good way to start. Oh, teachers, you can start with teachers. Teachers will know, but they can also direct your paths to who's the right person to talk to. And again, for us, we were blessed because Butler County Success already had their foot in the door and came to us for help, whereas we didn't have to jump in blinded and try to figure it out. But now that we're in, we can say, hey, here's what you need to do. So start out by getting to know the people, find out who do you need to talk to, find out what programs they have. You don't want to compete with another program. Okay, I found out in one school they have an after-school club. Guess what it was? Mentoring kids. What did we do? Mentoring kids. But what we found out was the first year we didn't know about it, but we heard about it, and then we found out the second year the principal did away with the after-school club. He said, I want you guys to utilize the Power Pack program because it's more than just helping your kids with homework. It had more to offer them, so they did away with that club, and it all came to us. See if there's involvement or opportunity for involvement. You have to ask, because there's some schools, depending on who you're dealing with, they're like, no, we don't want that. Absolutely not. I mean, they don't know you. They're thinking, here comes the church. You've got to be able to look at what opportunity is in there for you, so you don't spin your wheels and not sit there running into a dead end right away. So you got to talk to them, find out what opportunity is there for involvement. And you know what? It may start with, and how many of you ladies maybe have done this, it may start with going into school and just volunteering to help the teachers. It may be that simple. It may be just getting your foot in the door and saying, hey, you guys need help, because my wife's a teacher of a public school, not Fairfield, but Mount Healthy. And she has parents come in all the time, or people come in all the time, and work with a kid one-on-one. You get your foot in the door that way, you're going to open it up. The doors, God will open doors. We just have to be faithful to get in and get started. If a program is not in place, can you start one? You may find a school that says, we don't really have anything. Well, would you guys be opposed to having one? We want to help your kids. We want to help them with what's the big thing schools are focused on? Test scores. Test scores, okay? And I'll go into that a little bit too, but it's like, that's their big concern. Well, if they got somebody who's willing to help these kids do better on their test scores, it's going to help the district do better, and then they're going to get more funds. So they're all about that. Next, we want to search out local food pantries in your area. And I say this because we feed our kids every day. I could not literally go out and buy food for these kids every day. It is not cheap. What I end up doing is buying hot dog buns and juice. Typically, because I can go through my local food pantry for Fairfield Shared Harvest, okay, and if you don't know the area close to you, call Shared Harvest in Fairfield and say, hey, can you direct my path to a food pantry that's closest to my city? See what they can help you with. But what we are able to do literally is buy food for pennies on the pound. Now I have a food pantry, so that helps me to be able to buy. I literally buy 2 skids of food at a time per month usually. and you would not believe the amount of food that you get. I mean, I'll get 3 cases of hot dogs, and I'll get 10 boxes of Doritos, and I mean, I'll get all these different snacks. I'll get spaghetti sauce, macaroni and cheese. What I want to do is think, I'm looking to give people food that they can go home and make and have dinner. Instead of, because when we first started our pantry, it's a long story, but it was like, okay, everybody's got $100, see what you can buy. So it's like, here's spaghetti, here's toilet paper, but what good's that going to do you? Okay, well, I got spaghetti, but what about sauce? What about bread? You have nothing to go with it. So it's like when we started the food pantry, my thought was, let's have spaghetti and spaghetti sauce. Let's have peanut butter and jelly. Let's have the things that go well together to make a dinner. So then you've actually built credibility, because now you really are helping people. If you're just giving them stuff, you're not much help. You're helping, it's grateful, better than nothing, but you're not meeting the need. The need is actually providing a meal on their table. Okay? Do we have any questions about how to have a successful after-school program? Just details for you to kind of get started. What I'm going to do now is share with you phase 1, what we did with our Power Pack program. The first thing we did was we worked on with our local food pantry by sending people to bag food for the children who qualify for the Power Pack program. That's a long statement. What I'm saying is, remember these bags I told you about that we give out on Fridays? Somebody's got to bag that food up. So we got some of our elders of the church, some that are retired, and say, hey, can you go over once a week and bag some food? And they'll have a table, and here's peanut butter, here's crackers, here's Fritos, or whatever. You take a Kroger bag, and you go, one of these, one of these, one of these, you walk around the table, tie it, you're done. Grab another one. And they literally fill over 2,000 bags in a day. About 8 people at a time. But again, now our church is having an involvement in our community. This has nothing to do with the school per se. The school don't see our people over there. But now we see the food pantry saying, hey, here's people that's willing to want to help out and be a part of this community. Because you're not just bagging for your kids, you're bagging for the whole Butler County is what we're doing. And I can't even remember the statistics of numbers of kids that get these bags every week, but it's unbelievable. And there's other groups that come. We're not the only group that does it. There are many churches that'll come and take a day, and take a day, and take a day. So it's that many bags. But again, you want to find opportunities that you can get involved in, okay? The next thing that we do, they receive a bag every Friday. I told you about that, all right? This is stuff that they know that they can prepare themselves. Instead of having to worry about, well, I can't do this doesn't do no good. How many times does a kid go home and mom and dad's not there? A lot, more than we even realize. So again, we're trying to meet that need. What is the actual need? Feed the child. Well, are they able to do it? We got to make sure that happens. The food pantry takes care of that. We don't have to do it. We show up, we bag what they have laid out. They already know that we got to have stuff that kids can make. Okay? Now here's the next one I use. The Agora is what we call our food pantry. Agora. And I can't tell you how the guy came up with that name. I know he came up with the name, he got it started, he left church and it fell in my lap. So I got Agora, but I have a food pantry that I've kind of adopted. And what I do at the food pantry now is another step. Families come to our church and get food, okay? Kids are getting bags, all right? We're doing everything we can there. Now we have a food pantry for anybody in the community. We're on the website. Actually, I have people call me from out of our city, and they will travel from out of our city to come to our food pantry and get groceries. We give them 3 bags of groceries. It's supposed to be enough food for their family for 3 days. There will be toilet paper. Sometimes there's soap, detergent, or clothes. It comes and goes depending on how the pantry is being able to get food from Kroger's and these places where they're getting it from. But here's family coming in, man. And I'm telling you, the families you will get are ones that are going to really be very appreciative. They're down on their luck. They have nothing. And it's hard. The hardest thing to do is call. So imagine yourself right now today having to leave here and go call a place you don't even know and say, can I get some food? That is very hard. That is, man, you literally hit rock bottom. Okay? Now, there are those out there who try to take advantage of the system. Wouldn't you agree? That's what I love about the food pantry. As the associate pastor of the church, one of the responsibilities I have is bookkeeping. So anytime somebody calls and they need help, who gets the call? The bookkeeper, okay? And guess what? They'll call me and say, hey, I need help with rent. I need help with utilities. I need help with gas payment, car, whatever. And you know what? We can't afford that. I don't know if you guys can. We don't have money just to hand out left and right. If you hand it out once, they'll be lined up out your door, okay? But what I'm able to say is, you know what? We don't have a lot of money, but we invest into a food pantry. I can give you groceries. That does one of two things. Half the time it's, no, I don't need that. You don't need help. If you can't, because even if you don't need groceries per se, if I give you groceries, you can take the money to buy groceries with and go spend it on your utilities or your house payment. But people don't do that. Some of them are scamming you. So to me, it allows me to tell who's scamming and who's not. Big difference. I love that. Because then the ones that say, when can I come? You know right now you made a need. You're meeting a need. Somebody is really down there. Now you know who you're helping. You're really helping people out. Okay? The neat thing about the Agora now is, now that we do the Power Packs, we have a liaison from Butler County Success. She's the one that gets these kids signed up to our program. So she goes and meets one-on-one with the parents. And every time we have a new family, guess what I get? A phone call. She says, is there any way I can get some groceries for this family? And she will tell you, I've never turned her down. I don't care how inconvenient it is. And my daughter will verify that there are many times I was like, we're walking out the door. No, we're not. We're going over here and handing out some groceries real quick. That's the way it is. That's got to be your commitment if you really want to make an impact. Okay? And so that here now we not only got a kid coming to the church, but now the parents coming to the church and get the groceries. What's the chances of getting that family in your church? It's improved no matter what, right? It's already gone up. Just by now, because you're not sitting there and taking a Bible and saying, you need Jesus Christ. You're not preaching at them. You're saying, how can I help? What would Jesus do, man? He'd meet their need. Then he'd share the gospel. And we're able to do that. We're able to meet the need, show them the care, and then share the gospel. Any questions so far? I'm trying to get it all as I go. Which one are we? How to have a successful after-school program. No, phase 2. All right, what we do. We go to elementary schools on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we transport the kids to our church, okay? Again, I said before, they were going to do it, didn't work out, that's okay. Our first year, we started out with 2 bands. 13 kids, we had 26, okay? Our second year, we started 2 bands, and while we were here at camp, that summer after that, after our second year, I got a phone call from my pastor, and it was our last day of camp or something. You're wore out, you're beat, you know, you're thinking, oh, I need rest. And he calls and said, we just had a bus donated. Now, some of you guys be overwhelmed and saying, a bus? How in the world am I going to manage a bus? You know, who's going to drive it? Who's going to ride it? Who's going to call? Who's going to do all that? You know what? Instead, it was like, bus. Now, instead of 13 kids, that bus can bring 60 kids or 66 or how many little ones you can cram in there. You know what I mean? Honestly, you can bring a lot more kids that way. Now you not only reach more kids, you're reaching more families, you're reaching your city. Okay? So now we're bringing in one bus from one school and a van from another still. Still got that connection with the one school. That's why I told you we get 13. That's all we get. But still, that's 13 kids that matter. You know, and that's another school with our foot in the door. So you got to kind of look at that. Would I like to have 2 buses? Absolutely. And someday that'll come. I don't have it yet. Until then, I'll just keep working the best I can. All right, we are currently in 2 schools, but now instead of being 26 kids, we run between 45 and 50 kids. Okay? Now I will tell you at this point the worst part of this program. If you want to say, okay, this all sounds like sunshine, it all sounds like great, what's the bad part? This is it in a nutshell. Okay? Kids move out of your life. That is the hardest part of running a Power Pack program. And it happens with our economy the way it is. It's more and more. I had 2 kids come on Tuesday. I saw them Wednesday night in Awana, and Thursday morning they were gone. Found out that Child Services took them out of home and moved them away in another city. And what did that do? That broke my heart. And honestly, I love these kids. And actually, the boy came to camp with me the first year. The girl came to camp with me the second year. And I lost them both. And it's heartbreaking. And that's the worst part. And you know what? God will help you through that. And then, I hate to say this, but Cody is my little boy. He's one that I said I would adopt. Cody is a kid that is so hyperactive. I mean, medicine, you hope it's working. There are days when, I literally can go to the point and say, he didn't get his medicine today, did he? I can tell it right then and there. Cody is a kid that came to camp with me this year, and I literally was asked by all my leaders come to camp, are you serious? You're really going to bring Cody? He's like, yeah, but he's going to be my boy. Cody came, and I'll tell you what, we were sitting in church, and they were singing a solo that night. And Cody was sitting next to me, and we were sitting right back there. And I was sitting there, and I knew the song, the girl was singing, and I'm just sitting there kind of singing along. I have my arm around Cody like this. He's sitting there, and now here's Cody. Cody's like this. Trying to sing, didn't know a word to the song, but he's trying to sing. He keeps looking over me, put his arm on top of my arm around me. He's just sitting there just singing his heart out. Didn't have a clue what he was singing. And then it's like he just, whatever I did, that boy had his eyes tuned in on me the whole time. What do you think I did with that child? That boy connects with me. I mean, tight. You know what I mean? It's like my own child. And here it is, just a kid. If you can get him on his message, and you can get through to him, I've changed his life. And not me personally, it's God through me. Don't take me wrong. But honestly, because God chose me, because I was allowed to, that boy's life was changed. I get a phone call from Grandma a month ago and said, I need your help. Here again, you got your foot in the door, you're making a difference on the kids. Now who's the parents calling? You. And they're saying, I need your help. I'm like, sure, what do you need? Okay, it's a busy day. How many years in Awana? You ever done a Awana regatta boat race? It's like the Grand Prix, but it's a boat race. Well, we did that. We do a regatta. I'm trying to get this regatta set up. I'm putting the track together, put water in, got fish to buy, put fish in, lots to do that day. Grandma calls me and says, I need your help. Cody did not even go to school today. He was up all night long crying, afraid that he was going to die and go to hell. Because he'd been listening to what you've been telling at church. Can you come by and talk to him today? Now, I just told you about my day. There was no point in that day to say, okay, let's go do this. But I said this, tonight's a boat race. I'll pick Cody up, I'll take him to dinner, we'll go to the boat race and then we'll talk. And the sad part was this, Cody didn't have his medicine for 3 days. They ran out and the doctor was out of town. They didn't know it. So he didn't have medicine the whole weekend. And I apologized to a family because this boy was hanging all over this lady's kids. I just howling wild, just having a good time, but he was just, you try to stay sane, he'll be shouting it out. You know, you just don't know to control it. So anyway, I'm thinking, there's no way I can talk to this boy tonight. He is just so out of control. So I thought, you know, I'll just get everything cleaned up. I said, here, Cody, sit in my office. I need to put this up real quick and I'll get you home. I'm like, we'll just have to do this another night. That boy, sit there as still as you are right now. He goes, so you're going to tell me about the Lord now? I said, Cody, I'd love to. And I opened my Bible and I shared with him the Word of God. And he accepted Jesus Christ in his life. Just as calm as he'd been on his medicine for every day for 3 weeks. And again, it's Jesus, man. It's like, that's the kind of impact you're going to have with these kids. Now, I try not to cry, but I just found out last week that Cody is being evicted. His grandparents are getting evicted from their apartment. And it's their own doing. It's their own doing. I've heard the story. I've heard the story from the apartment complex. I've heard the story from them. And her desire is to keep them kids in the school district and finish out this program this year. That's her desire. Cody's got 2 siblings who come, or one of them come. But also, Cody, since he got saved, is going through a discipleship program that I do with him. And he's on his last week, supposed to be getting baptized. And here's Grandma saying, well, they gave us till Monday to get out. And it's like, that's a heartbreak. That is a heartbreak. But you know what? Where would Cody have been had I not had those few, actually I've had 2.5 years. If I'd not had that time with him, where would he end up? I'm fearful of what his future holds. But hopefully Grandma's going to move him to Hamilton, which is the next city over. I'll get him there to church. He won't be able to come to Power Packs. He's not part of the school district. But I'll get him there on Sunday and Wednesday nights. That boy comes every week. And it's like, those are the kind of sacrifices you're going to make, because those are the kind of results you're going to get. So know up front, you really got a heart for kids. Don't speak it and don't mean it, because you won't last. It won't last. You're not going to make it. This is a heart commitment. You literally got to love kids. And I do. And it's so worth it. I can't even tell you the benefits. Cody's just one example. There are so many. There are some kids come in, they're sweetest things. And you think, man. And you look at their childhood and you're thinking, oh man. And you know what? I have a heart for it because I grew up in an abusive home. I knew what it was like. All right, my mom and dad fought all the time. Got divorced twice to each other and remarried to each other. And it was just, we moved when rent was due. So I've lived it, I know. I know what these kids go through. And you know what? If you can impact one, you impact the kingdom of God. That's the heart of it all. That's where it's got to be. Lost my place. Sure, I don't care. Okay, we can transfer them to the schools. I told you that. We are currently in the schools grade level. We do first grade through fourth grade. That's a reason. The reason is school's set up that way. I hate losing my fourth graders. They go to fifth grade, they go to a different building. And we have tried. We've met a couple meetings trying to figure out how can we bring these kids in still. The issue is this. They get done at school at least an hour earlier. I cannot get adults to come show up an hour earlier if they're coming home from work and stopping by to help the power packs. So it's, again, we're making an impact. But here's the thing. Here's the thing you got to look at. You may not get them on power packs, but you got to get them on Sundays. You got to get them on Wednesdays. That's where you get them. I've got Michael and Shade are brothers, and they've both been to camp, both been saved, both been baptized, and here they are. Both are Michael's fourth grade, Shade's already fifth. Shade's actually coming and mentoring now. Actually, I take that back. Michael's at fifth, Shade's at sixth. But Shade actually comes and mentors now. And they both come to church every Sunday morning, and they both come to church every Wednesday night. And they both go to camps. That's the impact that you make. You start it with this. This is the foundation. But you just keep letting it build and build and build. Okay? Students are picked up at dismissal at school. When they are dismissing the classes, we line up in a hallway. Our bus is parked out front. I get all my kids, we check them off, and out we go. We lead just like the rest of the kids do, but just in a different area. Phase 2, students arrive at church at 3:45. This is our schedule. They show up at our church at 3:45. Then they are fed a snack, which now is a meal. Okay? Our first 2 years we did snacks. They come in, they get crackers, cookies, and juice. Better than nothing, huh? I thought that's pretty cool. At least give them something to eat. I didn't think anything about feeding them supper. Because what do you think? You think they're going to go home and eat supper, right? Not what I found out so much. I had kids coming and they were hungry. They were like, can I have more cookies? Can I have more snacks? And it broke my heart. It's like, you know what? How much harder would it be to feed them a meal? And you know what it took? Some ladies of the church. I'll come cook for you on Tuesdays. I'll take care of Thursdays. Found out through the pantry I can get hamburgers, I can get hot dogs, I can get, there's these steak patties, there's these rib patties. We eat them, man, they're good. Seriously, stuff. But we eat them, they're good. And this is the stuff that we feed these kids. They get a rib sandwich, they get french fries, tater tots, and they love it. If you feed a child, man, you got their love. Because you met a need of theirs, their stomach. That they can go home and all they can find is a box of crackers somewhere. You're giving something they can really enjoy. So we switched up, went to do meals, and I'm glad we did that. And I even took it another step further this year, because we run the bus every Wednesday night for Awana. And then 40, 50 kids every week, just on the bus. And these are the same kids. So now I started feeding them on Wednesday nights. Now what we did before, and I know my fundraising thing, I talked about having funds to do that. That's a reason to fundraise. But every Wednesday night, first Wednesday of every month, we always had a spaghetti dinner for our Awana. Everybody in the whole church, even I invite the adults, whatever. It's like, yeah, here's once a month, we're going to say thank you. Come feed your family and then get busy in ministry. That happens. Go home, feed your kids, hurry up, get here and get time. Once a month, that's all I can do, but we're going to feed you guys. Everybody loved it. It's like, this is a great idea. So I thought, you know what? How can we feed these kids every Wednesday? So we started, we still do the first Wednesday of the month, everybody. But the rest of the weeks, we feed those kids that come on the bus. Hot dogs, hamburgers, grilled cheese, beef barbecue, you name it. The ladies, I got 4 ladies show up. And you know what's so cool about this is? These 4 ladies, just since they've been doing this year, in their offering, $20 a Awana, $50 a Awana, they're paying for it. They're cooking it. Who's doing the work? It's not me. Am I having to fundraise it? Not really. You may not have it, but that's what's happening. Again, who's winning them? The kids. And that's why I told them yesterday, it's like, when it comes to being a Awana leader, or last night, it's like, all you have to do is tell people, hey, try it. Would you try it? I'm not going to convince you. I'm going to tell you, man, these kids stink. Man, these kids, they may have bugs in their hair. That ain't going to win them, is it? But you know what? Hey, would you come work with this one? And man, they get up to you, hey, it's so good to see you tonight. You're done. You're serving the next 3 or 4 years, as long as that child's in that program. I'm telling you. You may have to tell some people, and they may need to over the head. But usually you get people to try it, and they'll do it. Okay, next one. We feed them the meal until 4:10, and then we have a 10-minute message. You believe the schools told me I could talk about God for 10 minutes? Pretty cool, huh? 10 minutes I get to talk about Christ. And you know what? I don't always do that. I talk about character. I talk about good attitude. I talk about things that the schools talk about and just build on it. And then say, well, now Jesus did this. But I don't just come out and smack it upside the head with the Bible. I come out and talk about, what did you guys learn in school? You learned about being a good character, didn't you? What was your character of the month? Every school has character of the month. Have a good attitude. What is good attitude? You think God be happy with that? You just start throwing it in. I tell you what, these kids get it. Took Cody a little while, he got it. He got it. Okay? After we have a lesson. Now in the past, when we first started, everybody came in, did the food, did the lesson, and then they went to game time. If you do Awanas, we can do Awana games. They're famous. They love dodgeball. Don't care. You get some foam balls, throw them in a room. You guys get these guys, go to it. They love dodgeball. Kickball. We played kickball in our gymnasium. And last Thursday we got to go outside. It was nicer. But what we did the first 2 years, we all went over and played games. And then we all went next door to the church and did mentoring time. One-on-one, 2 kids to adult, anything like that. But when we grew to almost 50, I didn't have that many people to do it. It would almost say, you got a classroom, and you got a classroom, you got a classroom with about 10 kids. What's the chance that you're going to reach that kid as well? How are you really going to help them get their homework done? You're not. So what we said was, okay, fine. When we get done eating, everybody comes over, we do a message, and we do song time too. We do songs with them during that message there. And now, if you're in 1st, 2nd grade, go get your book bags. You're gone. Mentors, everybody goes with them but me. I stay back and play games with the other 2 groups. Half hour goes by, guess what? Trade places. Now I just double the kids I can reach and still give 1 to 2 kids per adult. Just by that one maneuver. It took me a little while to figure it out. When I did, I was, yes. I mean, only a couple weeks. Trust me, it was hard. But it's like, daggone, this is the way to go. And it paid off. So now we're reaching these kids. I'll tell you what, here's the neat thing too. Teachers will meet you in the hallway at the school, and they'll say, hey, Cody here has a project. Can you really, I've given it to him, it's been out for 3 weeks, he's never once brought in any of it. You take that child aside, and usually at that point, I'll say, I want you to stay with this one until you get your project done. They may miss whole game time that whole day, but man, they are proud when they leave there, and they go to school next day, and they hand the teacher a project. And guess what? You just changed that kid's life. Just from that one. But here's the thing. The teachers, who are they calling now? They know they can't call the homes. They know they can't call mom and dad or grandparents. They're looking to us to help reach these kids get their work done. It works. It's one big cycle. One big cycle. At 4:50 we switch out. I told you that. Okay. Any questions so far? 2 nights a week. Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Every Tuesday and Wednesday, unless the school's out. If the school's on spring break, there's no power packs. Your leaders love that. Little break, woo! If there's a snow day, no power packs. Because you can't go to all the homes, pick these kids up and bring them in. It ain't worth it. You really can't. It's too much. But in snow days, and what's the other one? If it's an early dismissal. Anything that, whatever the schools do, we do. If they do early, we cancel. It don't pay out. Okay? We want to be successful. Now, here's the thing. You guys say, well, I don't have enough adults. I don't either. See my daughter? She's a mentor. I told you about Shade, who's in 7th grade. Mentor. You know what? They do better than we do. They know how to do these math problems better than I did. I mean, it's been 5 years since I graduated, you know, and it's like it just took me, okay, a little more. It's been a long time. Do you know how much has changed in that time? She brings home homework, and I'm like, your mom's a teacher. I'm a pastor. Bring me the Bible questions. You take her the math problems. But honestly, your teams, your college and career, your retired people, open it. Again, the kids win them. You just got to get them in there. We throw a kickoff party at the beginning of the year, ask for help. I may have 2 that say, yeah, that's not for me. Well, thank you for trying. But the rest of them, you're on board. Okay? Use everyone. Again, I talked about doing tests, work progress. If time allows for the games, it does. But if it don't, hey, we tell them this is important. It's important to get your homework done. It's important to pass this test. It's important to get this project done. Yes?
I want to say something from the mentor's perspective.
What?
These kids, like, I've been doing this, well, since Power Pack started, but these kids, they steal your heart first off, and they come up and they hug you, and sometimes they're gross, or they have greasy hair, whatever, they stink, whatever, but they come up and they hug you, and you just love them. All they need is love, really, for what they need. They may have a hard time at home, their home life may be awful, but we have murals on the wall, and they have like ones of Jesus being crucified, and ones of Jesus rose again, and ones being Jesus born. I go down and I say, hey, you know Jesus did that for you? That's a chance to bring Jesus to them. You may be the only Bible they read, they just want someone to listen to. But the kids, they steal your heart. You learn from them. When we do song time, there's like 50 of them in a gym saying, God's not dead, he's alive. And they're from public school. Like, it's not just church kids singing that, it's singing all the time. They're singing about God and they're getting in. Really, you learn, or you gain more from it than they do. The kids, you learn from them and they steal your heart. I was crying when my dad was talking about it, and it's like, they steal your heart and just giving them that eternity impact, just giving them Jesus, because he knows what they're going through at home, they need Jesus more. So mentoring, if we get this started, just helping those kids, they need it really bad. It's a total game.
Thank you. The thing stuff about the murals on the wall, I had ladies paint things of Bible characters on the walls downstairs. And again, I encourage my adults and my teens to talk to them. The kid's going to say, what's this? Who's Jonah? What's this whale? And man, you just open the door. You know what? You may not get as much homework done, but you taught them another lesson that they'll learn. And then your favorite part, 5:20, we take them home. We take them to their house. Something that I just learned 3 days ago. Make sure your drivers know that they get in the house. Now, school bus, their mentality was school bus drops them off. They're gone. Okay? I had a mom call me an hour after Power Packs was over. I was out walking in my neighborhood trying to lose weight. And all of a sudden I get this phone call. It says, Pastor James, my kid come to church today. I'm like, yeah, Bella came. She's home. No, she's not. I said, yeah, she should have got dropped off. No, she's not here. I said, have you been home? Yeah, we've been home the whole time. So let me call the driver, and we'll figure it out. So I called the driver. He said, yeah, she's my first stop. Got out right now. Okay, great. Call back to the house. She got off. I'm on my way. We'll find your child. It freaked me out. Called the day driver back, because he was freaked out, and he said, I'll meet you over there. We were going to go start searching for this child. Got in my car, got a phone call. I found her, Pastor James. She went to a neighbor's house. And what had happened was that I asked Bella about the next day. I said, where did you go? Well, I went and knocked on the house, the door was locked and nobody heard me. I went next door. We got to catch up. Because man, oh man, we don't want to be in a bad situation. And your heart can't take it. My heart can't take it. Honestly, you think you lost a child? You'll learn how much you love these kids. It's like losing roots. Okay? So you got to be careful. Teach them. We can't do what school does. Number one, school drops them off at 3:30. We're dropping them off at almost 5:30, 6 o'clock. Big difference, especially in seasons where it's dark, when it's usually not. You have to go the extra mile. Okay? Something else we learned is when you drop off at a big apartment complex, bus pulls up and says, out of here. Okay? I get a phone call from my mom. My kid came home drenched. Okay, found out that this is a big apartment complex that connects two different roads, probably about a mile, almost a mile apart from each other. And she lived on the other end. So we said, okay, fine, we'll drop her off on that side of the apartment complex. So you just have to learn and be able to be willing to change and make sure they get taken care of. We currently use a bus and 2 vans. I told you, the vans. The reason why we're using 2 vans now to take them home is because my bus driver flipped out one day and said, I can't take these kids. Driving me nuts. They won't listen to me. And I said, well, who's the problem? It was one apartment complex where literally 13 kids come from. And they were my biggest troubled kids. And I said, don't worry about it. I understand we're human. And it was a chance to teach her we're human. It happens. It's okay. We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. Come back. We'll take care of it. And then it hit me. If I take the extra van 13 kids fit in there. I'm going to shoot them over there and back, 10 minutes tops. I said, let's try that. They came back with the bus that day and they're like, we love you, Pastor James, you're so great. We had no problem. I said, that's funny, either did I. Number one, I took these kids who were problem chaotic on a bus, put them in a confined area. Number two, instead of a man driver and a woman trying to keep track, I was on the bus, which I'm sorry, but I mean, they'll respect the pastor more. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. And I'll tell you what, because people say, how do you do it? I got a deep voice, and I'm a pastor. Now, I have a problem calling children out. You know, I mean, but that's just my way of doing things. But kids will listen. They will respect me. And I keep trying to teach them. You respect her like you respect me. Always trying to teach them that. They ain't always going to do it. The bottom line, by doing that, 10 minutes is all it takes in my time. Now I got two happy people on the bus. Bus driver and the rider. They're not afraid to work that bus route. Okay? So again, you got to be able to make changes if you need. And again, the vehicle was sitting there not being used because the bus was able to carry them all. And also, another thing to think of is you got these kids home a little earlier than what they're used to. So another thing to think about. You need a driver or rider on each vehicle. Don't go alone. Don't attempt to ride a bus with 50 kids. You're going to go nuts or have a wreck. Don't do that. Always have a helper. We try to reach these students and their families to get them into the church. That's where you get a little deeper. Some come on Sunday mornings and jam, and some come on Wednesday evenings for our Awana program. And then they are all invited to our Easter egg hunt that we're getting ready to have. It's a Saturday before Easter every year called Egg Exciting Adventure. When we first started this, it was about 100 people showed up. And we do a massive egg hunt. I do a magic show with the message. Free lunch for everybody. We were doing crafts. We were doing, everybody got their picture taken with a bunny or a duck, because we had live bunnies of mine and ducks. So then all of a sudden the next year we went about 200, 300. Last year we had almost 600 people one day, one service. This year I'm anticipating 700. Now, how is that possible? Number one, we do Power Pack program. Got our name into the schools. Now I found out, and get this, you probably might not believe this. I can go to schools, both schools, and hand them flyers, 30 per class. And they'll pass them out to the kids to take home promoting Egg Exciting Adventure. All I had to do is take the flyer, take it down to the school district. The guy looked at it and said, no problem. Take these to the schools, let them pass them out to the classes, and guess what? Can you give me a ride? Can I get a ride? Can I get a ride? We were bringing them in. And I tell you what, how's all that possible? Because we started a relationship. We started our foot in the door now. They know that we're not a criminal. We're not bad people. We're trying to help our kids. Now we have our agenda. Hey, we'd like to give in church. Now that comes into play. And it works. It works every year. We're getting ready to pass out, I think it's over 2,000 flyers to go to these schools. Unbelievable. I would have never dreamed that I could ever do that. My wife's a public school teacher. I can't even do that in her school. I go to her school, do magic shows all the time. They invite me in all the time. Don't talk about the Word of God. Or don't talk about religion. But I do say, I'm a pastor. Now, as a pastor, I have to read my Bible, and I'll do my Bible trick. Now, you guys, you got school books, but that's as far as I can go with that school. But I don't get in trouble for that. But I think the more they get to know me, a little bit more I can get into it. Any questions yet? Okay, let's give you some hard numbers. I think that's next. Nope, there's that part. I just hit that. Here's a key point. If you want to get them into your church, you have to have people go visit. Okay? You can send home flyers, plum flyers, promoting your church, promoting this. You'll get some. But I had, my first year, a lady said, you know what, I'm committed. I want to go visit every home this year. And every week she went out. No lie. Every week she went out. She had somebody new coming that Sunday. Every week. And it makes a difference. Making that one-on-one contact. Hey, we're that church that your kid comes to for after school. I just want to introduce ourselves, and we'd love to have them for church on Wednesday night. You know what the parents are saying? Babysitting. Absolutely. And here's somewhere that's got credibility because my kid's already going there. So why not? And they'll do it, okay? Here's our first year, okay? We had 28 students in our Power Packs. We had 14 students that came to junior camp, which were all sponsored, which is why I fundraised. 16 of these kids came to the Wednesday night Awana program. 18 of them came on Sunday morning to church. And 20 to 25 plus showed up for you to do a play, be in a play, which they have to show up on Sunday nights, to come to BBS egg hunt. Get this, 5 families. 5 families. Have you guys ever gone door to door knocking? Have you ever gone out in one day and got 5 families? Have you ever gone out in a year and got 5 families knocking on doors? You can knock on doors till you're blue in the face. Man, when you show people you care, it brings them in. Some of those families are still there 3 years later. It's awesome. Been saved, been baptized, being a part of your church. Year 2, 28 to 30 students. Still only had 2 bands. We grew to 30 students because I started telling people, we'd love to have your kids, I just don't have transportation. I'll bring them. I had parents bringing their kids, 2 of them bringing their kids, dropping them off for our program, and picking them up. So we were able to do that. We had 15 that came to junior camp, 17 for the Wanna Club, 10 for jam, and 50 plus coming to plays, BBSs, because they're bringing their siblings. One kid, all of a sudden, turns into 5. I got one Power Pack kid start coming on Wednesday nights, called me and said, can I bring somebody? Absolutely. Sister came. Next week, brother came. Next week, a friend came. It just continues to grow and grow and grow. 5 families, all were active for the second year. Not the same 5. 5 families. Okay? Year 3, 45 to 50 students this year. 20 or more expected to go to camp this year. 22 are in the Awana Club. 16 of them come on Sunday morning. And then still to be determined about all of these. And then so far we have 2 families. And you know what's killing me? My lady who does my visiting goes to Florida. She's a winter bird, or whatever you call them things. What do you call them? Yeah. Snowbirds. She's a snowbird. She comes back at Easter. Guess what's on her plate for the first week? Get in them homes. Because I can show her that's the difference. That's the difference. So, again, can we do it all? Absolutely not. We need people. There's no way that I'm responsible for all this. It ain't from me, it's from God allowing us. And you know what? There's only one difference between me and anybody who doesn't do this. And that is, I said, here am I, Lord, use me. That's my attitude. Here am I. If we have that attitude, here am I, Lord, use me. He will open doors continually. Okay? And I'll tell you about, I'll tell you about the next one. The principal called me from school and said, we got the testing coming up. We love those tests. Got the testing coming up and our kids need help. Is there any way that you can mentor them longer so we can work in on this testing? And I said, honestly, we can't. And she like stopped for a minute, like, why? I'm like, because they go in equal amounts. They're split now. Oh, I didn't know that. I'm like, yeah. So I really, if I take one and give it to them, they're not going to get it. So she understood that. And I said, but why? Why are you trying to get us to do this? And she goes, because there's a camp being offered 4 days a week in the morning at 8 o'clock. And all these kids could come, but they don't have a ride. I said, so you mean that's your issue? These kids could come and they would come if somebody would pick them up and bring them there? She goes, yeah. And I said, I'll do it. I'll do it. And I only got 6, but 6 kids every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I put her on the bus at 7:15. I'm at my church at 7:30 pulling out the van, and I go pick up these 6 kids and drop them off to school. Ain't a big deal, honestly. I mean, you think, wow, my pastor said, are you nuts? No. Half hour, I'm already here. There's no inconvenience really, except that's a half hour less I'm working on my work that I usually work. But now I got 6 kids that are going to do better. But what did I just tell the schools? This is important to us. We'll sacrifice. We'll do it. And I'll say this. I wasn't even going to say this, but honestly. There's some kind of award being done, and our Power Pack program got chosen for it. And it's because of the busting them in. And we got a breakfast we're supposed to go to. I can care less about that, folks. The bottom line, that tells you it works. Okay? And it's a lot of work, but it's so worth it. Look at the times you spent on everything else. It's really worth it. So, many of these children have accepted Christ as a Savior. Some have been brought through discipleship and have been baptized. So you tell me, is it worth it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Are there any questions? I try to cover it in detail, try not to bore you. But are there any questions? Bottom line, what we're trying to communicate with this whole Cool Kids College is be fired up, be excited, and do something. Don't walk in and say, oh man, that's great. I'll tell you what, I've been doing magic now for 7 or 8 years, and I went up to the class upstairs for the first one. I'm like, ooh, I'm getting that trick. Oh, I'm going to get that trick. Because it's like, well, I can teach this or I can teach that. It's like, here I have been coming and doing this, and it's like I'm still learning. You'll never outlearn what's to be learned. There's so much. And it's like I tell my kids, you can read John 3:16. And you can read John 3:16. You can read John 3:16. But it never gets old, and you will continually learn. God will continue to open your eyes and your heart to new things. You know, the more we read God's Word, the more it teaches us. The more we understand, the more we can learn. So what's the thing? We have to do it. We have to stay competitive. We have to be in it. Be consistent, not competitive. Be consistent and do it. Same thing with children's ministry. Same thing with adult ministry, choir ministry. Whatever we do, we should do it with all of our hearts to bring more to Christ. So that's the end result. That's why we do this. Okay? It's not to get an award. Honestly, I was like, I don't want to say that. But it's just, it's humbling. But it shows you that the schools get it. And you know what else? Here's another one. I forgot this one. The principal called me. And he said, hey, every year at the end of the year, we have an award ceremony for these kids. And we do it one grade at a time. And we asked all these parents to come in. They sit in our gymnasium, which is very hot because it's May. And it's stinky. And he says it's so uncomfortable and it's so loud. He says, I would like to really improve it this year. I said, what do you got in mind? He said, well, you got space big enough? I said, come on over. So he came to our church. He looked at our sanctuary and he said, is it possible? I said, absolutely. So now, end of this year in May, he's going to bus in. The fair will actually bus them. Going to bus in the kids one grade level at a time, and all the parents are going to be invited to our church to see their kids get an award. I tell you what, I don't know about you guys, but that's advertising. Here's a church that's here, and guess what? They got to go to church and not have something shoved down their throat. They got to come see their kid get an award, you know? And it's like, and all we are doing is saying, hey, this facility was given to us by God. Use it. Use it. That's what we try to do. I mean, when I first came on staff, our facility got used on Sunday mornings, Wednesday nights. Sunday mornings, Sunday nights, and Wednesday nights, for the most part. And may I tell you what, there's Bible studies Monday, there's Bible studies Tuesdays, classes being offered, Power Packs Tuesday, Wednesdays Awana, you got Big Youth is meeting, you got the Bible studies going on, you got, there's homeschooling groups coming in on Tuesday nights, once a month meeting, there's homeschooling coming in on Thursdays, having their meetings with parents. Thursday nights, there's some Bible studies, there's some classes. Friday, there's men's basketball, there's a joy activity. There's this stuff every time. Saturday, it's work day, we're cleaning up, we're doing this. I mean, it's like every day God's facility is getting used. You know what? Shame on us if we have this big building and that's all it does is sit there and gets used on Sunday. That's not a good use of God's resource. Did you have a question?
Well, you sort of answered something else. Having all those every night ministries so you have people that are already doing other things.
Yes. I was really surprised. And again, folks, all I can tell you is this. If you allow God to work through you, all things are possible. That's all I can tell you. Because when you look at it up front, you're probably sitting here saying, because you know your people, and there ain't no way I can get people to come do this. You're right, you can't. Pray about it and ask God to do it. And God can do it. And He'll give you mentors. There are some ladies that I would never dream of. Matter of fact, there are parents that will want to mentor. You imagine that? Just Tuesday, I have 2 new boys came last week. The dad, I think they just moved into town. He takes them to school. He picks them up in Power Packs. I don't know what the reason is. I just know he does all the transporting. And he came Thursday and saw what we was doing. He says, can I be a mentor? And I said, all I need is a background check. You know, I got to have a background check on him. He's never going to be alone. Our adults are never alone with any other kids. It's always groups. And you know what? I'll bring him in and let him run game time with me. That's a connection I'm going to make with his father. And by the way, there's supposed to be a church tomorrow. The boys and the dad. That will be my third family. And I didn't even have to get out and visit. This is one that God dropped in my lap. So, honestly, it's like we just have to be faithful. But you can't do it on your own. Don't be overwhelmed. Ask God to help you. Because I'm telling you, every year we sit there and say, it's going to be a rough year. I do that in Awanas. Every year I'm thinking, I'm going to lose all these people. They're tired. They tell me, I'm getting too old for this. I'm like, are you breathing? Because my philosophy is, because I got tired of hearing the older folks say, you know what, I've done my time. Then why are you still here? Is what I say back to them. Because if God has given us, and I'll tell people in their beds at the hospital, literally, they thought they were, I've many times gone and seen somebody that was supposed to die, and they're still alive, and my comment to them is, God's not done with you yet. He's left you here for a reason, and it ain't sit here to soak up the air, because I need more. But honestly, He's got you here for a reason, now go do it. Okay? Because, hey, the truth of it all is this. If we don't do it, you may not be here. If you ain't doing God's work, you may say, you know what good are you for me? You're out of here. I don't want to die that way. I want to go out with everything I have. Okay? Let's pray. Father God, we thank you for this day. I thank you for this awesome opportunity to come and share my heart. And Lord, the Power Pack program we do and our children's ministry, Lord, you are wholly in control of us, and just you have everything that we've had. You've given it to us. And Lord, I just thank you for all that you've done for us. You blessed us in a mighty way. And Lord, we don't deserve it. We know that. We recognize you as being our God and our Maker. And Father, we just thank you for all the gifts that you've given us. Each one sitting here has a gift, Lord. Some of them don't even realize their gift yet. And that's what I love is when I see a Christian that really wakes up and gets an aha. And wow, I can do this. This is my gift. And really take ownership of it and put it to use for the good of the Lord. Father, we just pray for each speaker here. Lord, I pray for the words to be said, Lord, the words to be spoken to be coming from you, Lord, that you would guide us and direct us. But Lord, I pray that we leave this place, every one of us changed, have a new fire, a new zeal to go out and reach the lost. Lord, that we can go out and teach relationships to people. Lord, that they are at a point in their life, they have no hope, they have nothing else in their life, but could we offer them Jesus Christ? Lord, that they would just claim that and they would accept you as their Savior. Lord, we are just tools, we're vessels here on this earth. Use us the way you choose. Help us to be willing tools of God. In Christ's name I do pray. Amen. Thank you very much for coming. I don't even know what time it is. I don't know if it went short, long.